Perhaps she chewed over this for a day or so before suddenly reappearing in my life. I often had the impression she would go out of her way to avoid me when it suited her, particularly at weekends. I accepted this most of the time. She was a teenager with her own life and concerns that predated my arrival, and I faced a precarious, rootless future. My life had to be taken one day at a time, and that included the longevity of any relationship, but I pined nonetheless every time she disappeared on me. Whenever she did appear, my soul fluttered excitedly and my mind dismissed everything else from my mind. Whether I was playing solo or with a duo or trio, I would stop mid-song to glory in her dark, sour eyes and bewitching midnight hair. It was impossible to do anything other than hug her. It would exasperate my musical partners, but my experience of Char was one where she would often suddenly vanish again if you didn't nail her down quickly. "Shall we go for a drink?" she asked. "Okay. Café Centrum?" She nodded. The interior of the Café Centrum was small, so we sat on the end of a table that included a few of my busker pals. Char had one drink and then asked John, the Irish fiddle player, for a taste of his beer. John passed the glass to her, saying, "Sure," then stared in horror as she drank the whole beer in virtually one go. "Hey, what are you doing?" Char passed the empty glass back to John, who was giving it a mournful look. It was always likely she would be unpredictable on a social level. She wasn't an ideal girlfriend if you were seeking social and egotistical prestige. Her actions would soon torpedo that. I was able to assess how weak her resistance to alcohol was on this occasion, as she lay on the seat with her head lying seemingly comatose on my lap. I was stroking her hair. She was not comatose, but sleepily smiling at my closeness. I was perhaps a little embarrassed that my girlfriend gave out the impression she had crashed out in my local bar, but this was more than mollified by the excitement and joy I felt with her presence. I may have been living one day at a time, but golden moments like this made many of those days soul-inspiring. Slowly, with her head still dreamily resting on my lap, she opened up on the dilemma blighting her life, defending herself and becoming aware that she should not be held to blame for much of her pitfalls over the years. I was 12. What did I know of life? This is true. What did she? She had to understand she need not be bad simply because she was always ready to take the blame. A 12-year-old schoolgirl of well-heeled parents with money to hand for the asking is an ideal vehicle as wholesaler to the other kids at her youth club. The drug mafia showed her the fun of her wares, and she showed her friends. The market is set up, let the accounts begin, buy and sell. More money to be made and independent the family. Buy some of this, sell it? Hold on, why not have a little bit before selling? Maybe a little bit more than that. I'll make a loss, but I'll sell the next batch without taking any myself. Her mother discovered her taking drugs at the age of 15, and the reaction was, it seems, complete emotional rejection by inference. Her brother acquired an apartment in the centre of Antwerp, and at some point Char moved in with him. Her sense of parental rejection led to an increasing urge to binge away the outside world, where only cynicism, coldness and business prevailed. In between her dances with death, she functioned fairly normally, applying urgency to matters that may have eluded her permanently, but for fortune the night before. Maybe that was it, the strange desire to self-destruct, and then almost doing so, then suddenly back to normal life, where things to do on a mundane level reassert themselves. The desire for emotional parentage by surrogate means. The tie-in was complete. My surrogate daughter, Char's surrogate father. It was the nature of the bond, and because this bond had a tenacity and feeling of permanence, it became so. With her head still dreamily rested on my lap in the bar, she continued to unveil the culmination of circumstance that led to her present impasse. I cannot just leave. I owe them money. they'll not let me leave. Oh, then I'll try to earn the money to help you pay them back, said I resolutely. She shook her head to the idea. No, you could not make the money I will need. My new existence was laid bare with its financial impotence to aid my princess in distress in any material way. It was all I could do to keep myself afloat. I think, she continued, I could ask my grandmother. Maybe I can get the money that way. I had to hope she would be successful in this. It was clear she planned to get her life back on track, but all I could offer was my fanatical love and the right words to bolster her esteem. It's not your fault. Like you said, you were only 12. You can turn your life around. I'm scared you may overdose and kill yourself, Char. Please don't do that to me. Tears welled up inside me. She smiled. Sometimes I have seen the tunnel and the light at the end of it. I wanted it. I wanted that tunnel. I wanted its peace. I gripped her firmly, tears escaping. Char, I don't want you to die. Please don't want that tunnel. I love you. She considered this. I love you and my brother. But if you leave Antwerp, I will kill myself.